My name is Priyanka Vashisht, and I want to be an attorney. No, scratch that. My name is Priyanka Vashisht, and I am going to be an attorney. But before we get into that, let me explain a little bit about myself. I was born to Indian immigrant parents in Flushing, Queens in 1991. My parents are lovely, intelligent, and dynamic people. They raised me as a dreamer and a doer, whatever that means. However, my parents don't really get the school system here. They never understood the point of parent-teacher conferences, they couldn't really help me when I was applying to college, and they definitely don't know what it takes to become an attorney. The good thing about my parents is that they roll with whatever I tell them, and that kind of acceptance is tough to find these days, especially in the hyper-competitive Indian American community. The bad part is that since I have no connections and don't know a single lawyer, I feel totally alone on my career path and in my academic life sometimes. And trust me, it gets pretty lonely out here. I have a lot to think about when it comes to continuing my education. First of all, law school is a huge commitment in terms of time as well as money. It's a huge financial commitment that can cost upwards of $70,000 a year. So, if you want to practice law, you better be ready for that, or your credit score will go down the toilet. Their career prospects don't seem too hot as of right now either. Everyone keeps saying that the market is oversaturated, whatever that means. The economy is tanked, whatever that means. My grandma, in her native Punjabi, remarked that, "Lawyers are roaming the streets like dogs, Priyanka. Why do you want to be a lawyer?" Okay, well, that's one way to put it, Nani. So, why be a lawyer, you ask? Good question. When I was 5, I was in a terrible car accident where I was run over by a plumbing van. Yeah, I know, it sounds pretty darn terrible. The doctors definitely saved my life. But you know what I remember the most clearly? How nice my lawyers were to me. Now, if you believe the traditional stereotype of ambulance chasers and attorneys who are only nice to you when they need something, then okay, maybe these guys were only nice to me because they knew a fat paycheck was in store for them if they did their job correctly. But you see, I don't remember it that way. I remember a nice man in a suit telling me that I don't have to testify because real court isn't like Law and Order. I remember someone patting me on the shoulder and telling me that anything I got out of the lawsuit could help me pay for my cast and maybe even for college. I remember getting Christmas cards from the law firm every year until I turned 18. So maybe these things were mere formalities and I'm drawing the wrong conclusion because it's just business as usual. But I guess those things, those little personal touches, are where my reasoning for becoming an attorney is rooted. Lawyers work for people. There's a human element there that can't be denied. Somebody has to sort out the tricky brambles of law and legal issues. And I believe that practicing law is a form of public service, just like being a doctor, or a cop, or a firefighter, or a Starbucks barista. What? People need their overpriced grande double pump white mocha doppio con panas at 8 a.m., okay? That's a public service. I've always felt that my teachers and professors recoil a little when I tell them my career aspirations. Maybe it's the stigma associated with being an attorney. And I'm sure that, my teachers and professors would rather that I become an academic or a writer, but I think that might be a bit biased because that's a profession that they've gone into themselves. What's good for one person doesn't need to be good for everyone with the same interests. I honestly don't picture myself as an academic. It's a noble work full of rigor, but I don't find it particularly captivating. So, why do I want to be a lawyer? How do I know that the law is for me? Ever since I stepped foot in that courtroom when I was 6, I knew that I wanted to go somewhere. Like that. All the time. I know that I want to litigate, and I know that I want to help people. I'm a fighter, and I'm sure that I can use that to my advantage. The goal here is advocacy work. I hear most people in advocacy don't have particularly big paychecks, but that doesn't matter to me as much as making a difference and serving the community does. It helps that I love the law. I have a pocket constitution because I firmly believe that it enumerates the most fundamental liberties and freedoms that we, as citizens, retain. And as you can tell, I'm also a sucker for the eloquent gibberish that goes into legal documents and laws. Yes, I understand that the majority of practicing law has to do with trying not to drown in stacks of paperwork and trying not to get fed up with the bureaucracy. But you see, I'm up for the challenge, even though the very idea of paper cuts terrify me. Being an attorney is usually a high-pressure job. The stress can be overwhelming and even take a toll on one's health. But the thing about me is that I'm a go-getter. I have this awful habit of never taking it easy. Don't get me wrong, I love a vacation as much as the next guy, but after the first 5 days of spring break, I feel something inside me turning into mush. I need deadlines, work, and something to be actively working on. I think this kind of temperament and conviction makes me well suited for the legal field. Speaking of well suited, I think that I'd look pretty good in a pantsuit, and that Hillary Clinton got nothing on me. In my heart, though, I know the real reason why I want to be a lawyer is because I can't see myself doing anything else. I wanted to do this for so long, and it isn't like I've never had my moments of self-doubt. I've had those quite a bit, and something keeps bringing me back to law. I don't think that my mind has felt so active contemplating any other subject, or if I felt more validated than I have while memorizing case law and applying it to what I've learned in class. I want to use the legal profession as a tool to help give disenfranchised voices a platform and to affect social justice and change. I want to help people navigate the treacherous and intimidating legal system, and I want to represent them efficiently and effectively. And I also want to look really sexy in a suit while doing it. So, my name is Priyanka Vashisht, and I am going to be an attorney.